Hi, welcome to a quick video tutorial defining primary and secondary sources. In this video, we'll make sure you know what a primary source is, what a secondary source is, how to tell the difference between the two, and how to use them in academic writing. Let's define a primary source first. A primary source provides direct or first-hand evidence about an event, object, person, or work of art. It's the main object you're studying. A primary source can be many things depending on what you're studying. It could be an eyewitness account, the results of experiments, statistical data, a short story, a poem, a film, video or audio recording, speeches, a piece of art, an archaeological artifact, a historical document, and other objects like these. Those are primary sources. Let's define a secondary source then. A secondary source comments in some way on the subject of a primary source. It brings ideas or commentary about the primary source. In college, you're often asked to find secondary sources for an assignment by doing research in the library. Examples of secondary sources might be book or movie reviews, articles about a primary source in newspapers or magazines, or scholarly articles in an academic journal that analyze a piece of literature or discuss or evaluate someone else's original research. If you've ever written an essay about any object you studied, like an article or a short story or a picture, then you created a secondary source about a primary source. Now that we've defined primary and secondary sources, how do you use primary and secondary sources in your writing? Start by studying your primary source and making your own interpretation of it. Your own interpretation may mean that you analyze a piece of art or literature, or that you read data or statistics about a subject. Importantly, brainstorm and write down your claims about a primary source. After you've developed your own claims about a primary source, your next job is to figure out what claims a secondary source makes about the topic. So read your secondary source carefully. What is the author's main claim or thesis related to the primary source? What subclaims does the author make? Write those down too. Then ask yourself some questions. The main question you want to answer is, do you agree or disagree with the main claim or any subclaims made in the secondary source, and why? But to answer that, you may need to get introspective and ask yourself some questions like, how do your ideas about a primary source change when you read another scholar's ideas about the subject? How do your interpretations of your primary source change after reading a secondary source? Use the answers to these questions to brainstorm ideas for your writing. Take your time and really think about your sources. This is the whole point of secondary sources. They prompt new ideas as people in the academic community share knowledge. Finally, as always, be sure to cite any and all sources you use in your writing. Otherwise, you're plagiarizing or stealing someone else's ideas. See my videos on citation for help citing your sources. And there you have it. Come back and watch this video as many times as you need to understand what a primary source is, what a secondary source is, how to tell the difference between the two, or how to use them in your academic writing. Good luck.